for 3 spot. Doesn't even make it through 5. Bullpen is on his way. We know it. It's more so what Farhan and the message he delivered afterwards. And I'll just read this. Told the station that we're 4 games under 500. Overall, it's been a real disappointment. We pushed a lot of chips in with this team. We need the players to show what the right direction is for us. If we keep playing like we did for the last 5 days, we are going to have to think about selling and seeing some younger players. That is a real quote from the president of baseball operations of the San Francisco Giants. And I'll say this, Shasky, before I head it off to you. If you want to go ahead and sell, if that's the plan, if they keep playing like this and you start selling, well, I got something for Farhan and I got something for the Giants. The casual fans will not be going to games. The casual fans will start to tune out and look at the Olympic Games in Paris, France.
I'm out.
They'll start watching training camp videos. They'll start watching Hard Knocks. They will start watching tennis. They will start watching whatever they can instead of Giants baseball if you go ahead and sell on this team this year. That is the final straw to me. So to throw the team under the bus and say, hey, if we keep playing like this, we're going to just sell. Well, be careful when you do that because your business model will get hurt.
So let me get this straight. They went all in on 34-year-old, 1 year, $850,000 camp invite Nick Ahmed, who they played at shortstop for a bulk of the season. They went all in on 31-year-old broken down, Cadillacs from the 70s have better transmissions than Michael Conforto. They went all in on, and he's having a solid year, but Lamont Wade Jr., who anyone could have had a couple years ago. They went all in.
By the way, is hurt again.
Well, they went all in on Mitch Haniger a couple years ago, who they're paying to go play for another team. Oh, and then had to acquire Robbie Ray, who hasn't thrown a bullet for you. They went all in on Mike Yastrzemski, 33-year-old Mike Yastrzemski, who's a 4th outfielder on most contending teams at best. Wait a minute. They went all in on Alex Cobb, who hasn't thrown a bullet this year and was supposed to be a key part of the cog. They went all in on 28-year-old journeyman who was plucked off of the Yankees for nothing, and anyone could have, making $5 million, Thairo Estrada. Who's been kind of lackluster. They
Luke
went
Jackson?
all in.
You want to throw Luke Jackson in there?
I'm getting to that. They went all in on Jung Hoo Lee, who missed a lot of last year in the KBO with a shoulder injury and is hurt again. And
throw him $100 million.
Yeah, 6.
Throw $106 million. That's what it was. I lost count.
Keaton Wynn, who's supposed to be a part of this rotation. Remember him?
I forgot all about him.
How about Tristan Beck?
I forgot all about him too.
And then that gets me to just where we're at right now with Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison. So. Just Jordan Hicks was a good signing as a 4, as a 5, knowing that, you're probably going to need 6 or 7 guys in the rotation. And I found it to be quite ironic that yesterday the Giants were going up against a guy in Kevin Gausman who the Giants scoffed at paying. Oh, we're not going to pay Kevin Gausman. And look, I don't even think Gausman's that great, but there is value in doing what he's done the last few years. This year, he's thrown 104 pitches.
Wow.
104 innings. Last year, he threw 185. The year before that, 175. That would be second on this team behind Logan Webb, who leads baseball the last 3 years in innings pitched.
And the irony is they can't find a pitcher who can't go more than 5 innings, more than 4 innings. It's Logan Webb and Prey.
Well, I'll tell you,
it's unbelievable.
You keep talking about the innings for Jordan Hicks.
Yeah.
He's thrown 1,600 pitches this year.
Wow.
That's clearly a high.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
The innings pitch is a career high already.
Absolutely. Gausman's already eclipsed that this year easily. Last year, he threw 3,000 pitches. I gave you the innings. The year before that, 2,800. So we could talk all we want about value margin fines and this and the other. It's the big misses like this where you had Kevin Gausman on your team and you could have kept him. Okay? And instead, you got cute and you went after Rodon. And then you squeezed them. Look, Rodon had a great year.
Yep.
But Rodon didn't parlay into anything.
Nope.
And it reminds me so much of the 2021 season where you had a great year, but you didn't parlay it into anything. And I look at all these other acquisitions, and I'm looking like, so Jordan Hicks, right? And we know he's got 19 games started this year, and it started off really well. In March, he obviously had the 1 start and had a 0 ERA. In April, 5 starts, a 1.86 ERA.
Wow.
In May, 6 starts, a 3.99 ERA. And in June, 5 starts,
Yep.
a 5.24 ERA.
Who could have saw that coming?
July, 2 starts, 7.71. Where I'm going at is that clearly he's phasing.
He's descending. He's descending.
The poor guy, look, and I'll be real with you, the poor guy has actually gone 5 innings almost every single time out. He's actually found a way to right the ship, and I actually thought yesterday was an admirable start from him to go as long as I would have yanked him after 1. He looked exhausted.
So, look, 4 years, $44 million contract for Jordan Hicks, which, up until this point, it's been a value play. It's been a really good value play. And he's only making $6 million this year.
Oh, no, it's good
$12 million
bargain.
per season the next 3 years, and a one-time $2 million signing bonus. So, the contract, 4 years, $44 million, I'm not mad at that. But you had to know that at some point, you brought him in to be a starter and experiment. Basically, it's an experiment to make him a starting pitcher and then say, oh, we need to taper off of him, which they're going to do. They're going to do it at some point. But not having the wherewithal to say, okay, Jordan Hicks might be fading by July. We still may not have Robbie Ray. We still may not have Alex Cobb. Oh, boy, Keaton Wynn gets hurt in spring training. What are we going to do outside of Logan Webb? Well, Blake Snell he face planted for the most of the first half season. It's been a complete nightmare with that contract, even though I do believe he'll pitch better the second half. It may not be for the Giants. It may be for a contending team. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, Shasky, what does it mean to you? Pardon me. When you get a president of basketball operations saying, we put all the chips in with this team, and you spent all this money, when really you struck out on a lot of big free agencies. I wouldn't say going all in on guys like Blake Snell and Matt Chapman. I don't know if that screams championship, and I like Matt Chapman a lot. I like Matt Chapman a lot. But when he says, we're going to have to think about selling and seeing some younger players if we don't right the ship. How does that make you feel as a fan?
Yeah, this is how.
888-957-9570. Because, again, we're here again where all of a sudden I thought last year they should have sold, Chasky.
Yeah.
I was one of the few that said, you know what, you should sell. This team ain't going nowhere. And maybe you get a head start on 2024.
Yeah.
But now I'm hearing, wait a minute, you spent over $200 million on a payroll. You got all these players. You sold us that, hey, we're going all in. Remember, the stakes are high.
Well,
the stakes are high.
And I've never bought that because, look, I'm a lifetime procrastinator when it comes to schoolwork. I admit it. All right, I'm gonna lay it out.
You and I both.
Well, I'm gonna lay it out. I procrastinated on schoolwork till the very end. Okay, that's what I did. I'm not saying it was right because trust me, I'm gonna teach my son to do the complete opposite.
Well, I've last minute essays. Come
exactly.
on, man.
So here's what I would say. This whole we went all in. Well, okay, if we look at this like a semester, okay, in terms of his tenure. You were so behind the 8 ball, you had to cram the night before the big final, and you overdid it with notes and everything. It's too late. It's too late. The body of work of this semester is going to do you in, and even if you do well, decently on one test, that doesn't save the entire semester. And that's the way I view this. And getting back to Jordan Hicks, it's the microcosm, again, of miscasting players who are solid players.
Right.
Into roles that they shouldn't be in because you have had an inability to develop your own farm system to have true difference makers who can come up and be those kinds of pillars to an organization. Now, credit them for finding Ramos. I know a lot of people are, slicing hairs on the Ramos thing. Well, he wouldn't have been up if this didn't happen.
He's up and he's playing well.
He's here. They deserve credit. They haven't yo-yoed him. I'm giving him credit for that. He does deserve credit for Elliot Ramos because you know what? They could have easily traded him away multiple years ago.
I can't get over, though. Here we are right before the All-Star break. And I thought they had a great 13-game stretch going 8-5.
No, they did.
All that momentum's dissipated just like that by losing 2 or 3 to the Blue Jays. Losing 2 or 3 to the Blue Jays, that momentum is gone. Yeah. Now you've lost basically 4 of the last 6.
You feel like the same team for the last 4 or 5 years.
You lost Saturday in Cleveland, Sunday in Cleveland. Actually, you lost 4 or 5. You lost 4 or 5. But the fact that here we are in early July, we have the president of the baseball operator. Now, he may be feeling good with some job security because I can't believe a president of baseball operations, whether it's the Giants, the A's, the Yankees, the Red Sox, whatever team, we're not even at the All-Star break. And he said, hey, you know what? We keep playing like we did for the last 5 days. We're going to have to think about selling and seeing some younger players. Now, all of a sudden, there's a lot more pressure on these players to perform at a high level. And now you got Twins coming into town, and they're no joke in the AL Central.
And the guy that you should have, could have, would have, maybe signed
is playing well. is playing well. Carlos Correa.
He's out there.
Carlos Correa is out. So you whiffed on that one. You whiffed on all the big ones. But the fact is that he says, hey, we pushed all the chips in with this team. Well, I don't know. Pushing the chips in means World Series or bust in my world. When you say I put all the chips in, like the Warriors, they put all the chips in. The Niners go ahead into training camp in a couple weeks here. They put all the chips in on this roster, whether it's Bosa, Warder, Kittle, all these premium playmakers, premium talents, they've gone all in. That's putting all your chips in. What Farhan has done in 6 years, this doesn't scream, hey, I'm putting all my chips in. So now you send this message saying, you know what, we may be selling again. And then all the optimism that I've had and other Giants fans have had about this team, that's now gone out the window. Now I'm saying to myself, well, damn, you've got a shelf life on the season. You don't turn this thing around and you start selling at the deadline, well, guess what? I'm going to sell the last 2 months and not watch your ass. That's where we're coming to. We've done this for 3 straight years, Shasky. 3 straight seasons where in August 1st, we're in training camp mode. We're talking about the Warriors and training camp opened up in October. We're not even going to talk Giants baseball the last 2 months. If you go this route again, that's unbelievable.
Bonte, the Dodgers have lost 4 in a row, just got swept by the Philadelphia Phillies, and you're still 10 back.
Unbelievable.
And that should be the measuring stick.
Well, just look at the standings, Shasky. You're behind the Reds, Cubs, Pirates, Diamondbacks, and Padres.
Yeah, it's
the Mets are now in the wild card spot.
Can I give you a basketball analogy?
Please.
If the Dodgers are what the Warriors were at some point, right, where they're like kind of the gold standard of the conference, if you will, right? The Giants aren't even at like the Portland Trailblazer, McCollum, Dame Lillard level.
Yeah, they're not. They're not.
But I think most Warrior fans would have said to that Portland version, you got to blow it up.
Yeah.
Right?
And you know what? It's funny. I'm looking at the games on the TV right now.
Do you like that analogy?
I love that analogy. I love that analogy.
They're not even,
at least Dame and them would be in the second round.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe the Western Conference. So there was some false hope.
Yes.
We don't even have that with this team.
That's right.
You know what they are? They're like the Atlanta Hawks going into the play-in game. They're a play-in team. I mean, that's what they are.
That is a good call, actually.
They're that team that's knocking on the door, a 10-9 seed. They give you false hope for one play, and then they get routed. But I just saw the shot of the stadium yesterday, Shasky, Oracle Park for a day game. And I get it, it's a day game, but you know what? We grew up and day games were packed.
Yeah.
And it's summertime, so kids may not be in school.
No, they're not.
Or they're out of summer school by 12 o'clock.
Yeah, they're doing camps and stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That place looked empty yesterday.
Well, it should be. I mean,
and you know what? All this talk about, well, we got the 8th best attendance or this and that. And, fans are coming out to the games this year. Well, the Warriors were not in the playoffs. And I think there was a correlation between the Warriors not being in the playoffs and sports fans in the Bay Area saying, we need something to do. We can't go to A's games because they don't care about us. The Warriors are not playing right now. Maybe we'll just walk down to Oracle Park. This whole notion that fans are coming out to the yard, I don't buy it. And I think a rude awakening's coming for this team in the next 2 months if they don't turn it around. And the president of baseball operations talking about selling? Do you even have – let me ask Giants fans, 888-957-9570. And I ask you this, Shasky. Do you even have faith in Farhan selling the right pieces and getting prospects back that could potentially help this Major League Baseball team?
Wow.
Because he gives up on guys quickly.
I'm on the fence on it. Here's why. Like, for example,
you're out. Guru's out.
Well, no, okay. So let's talk about like Kyle Harrison, right? We're talking about their rotation. I'm looking at Kyle Harrison, and I said to you at the beginning of the year, I'm like, dude, they're putting a lot on this kid's plate. I don't think he's ready. I just looked at his minor league numbers and his game logs, and I'm looking to myself and I'm saying like, I just don't see what everyone's seeing in terms of like workload. Like if you're going to be a starter from April to September, if we're being realistic. And I'm looking and I'm like, okay, you have told me, and everyone has told me, Harrison's the guy, Harrison's the guy, Harrison's the guy. And I've been tantalized at times with Harrison. But I've seen Birdsong, and I don't even know where Birdsong's nowhere near Skeens. No one is. Skeens is on a whole other level.
Throwing a no-hitter yesterday.
But to me, it's like, wait a minute. You guys have been hyping up Harrison, and Birdsong looks way better.
Real quick, did Skeens make the All-Star team?
Oh,
is he a part of the roster?
Oh, yeah.
And he better be. All right.
He should start.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
I'm going to say that right now. If it's about, like, quote-unquote, growing the game, putting the most fascinating product,
I'm not mad at that.
Paul Skeens should be the starter.
I'm not mad at that.
And it should not even be a debate.
I'm not
mad
at that. I mean, this guy's come in. It's unbelievable.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
and I use this analogy because Guru and I were talking about the Pirates yesterday. I said, it reminds me a lot of Kobe, his first year. I believe he was a starter on the All-Star game when he wasn't even a starter.
Second year or something like that. So there was
second year.
Second year, and he was coming off the bench.
Yeah. Coming off the bench for his real
but
team.
He started on the All-Star game.
But the league and the players and the fans is like, we kind of recognize we need to put this guy.
We need to put this guy right here.
And that's what I would say to Major League Baseball is take advantage of the opportunity. And there's a great example of someone, Skeens gets yanked yesterday, and they're talking about pitch counts and this and the other.
And then the guy reliever comes in first at bat, gives up a hit.
Everyone,
no-hitter.
We've gone way too deep into data, and we've forgotten what the game is all about. It's about the dudes. And yes, there are moments in time where we're going to lean with some of the numbers, but at the same time, don't fool yourself with what your eyes are telling you. So, for example, Giants fans, like, Harrison's been up and down. And if you actually look, he's been grittier than the numbers would suggest. He actually goes deeper into games than I think.
I've touched on that earlier in the season where I think his resolve is really good. He's a resilient guy. I remember the start in Miami where he gets up 3 right away, and he was able to battle and get through 5. I think he got through 5 in that game, and he was able to keep the Giants in the game, and they came back late and stole it. So he is tough. However, I trust you. I trust Lubman. I trust Willard. I trust everybody when it comes to the Giants farm system. I'm not locked in on the Giants farm system like that because I have a thing with prospects. I'm like, they're just prospects. Let me see them at the big stage.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of prospects get all the hype in the world and they flame out. I mean, Gary Brown was getting hype for crying out loud. He never cracked the major leagues. But I remember, and it's not to come back, but I threw out Shohei for Kyle Harrison, and I came away from that show thinking, damn, nobody wants to trade Kyle Harrison. He must be the real deal. I can't wait for this guy. And then I see 93, 94 fastball. Now, it's his first year, but I'm seeing and I'm thinking, that guy was untouchable? That's the guy we helped? And I'm not trying to rip the guy. He's a De La Salle kid. I think he has better days ahead of him. But, boy, he looks like he's wilting.
But this goes back to assessing, right? And I think the one thing that I look at, and, like, part of the frustration with Warrior fans currently, right, is – there are times where, like, wait a minute, you're playing Jeremy Lamb and Ty Jerome over Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. What are you assessing?
Anthony Lamb, yeah.
What'd I say?
Jeremy Lamb.
Oh,
Jeremy
my bad,
Lamb.
wrong Lamb. That's UConn. That was
UConn, yeah. It's a light skate cat from UConn.
Everyone's like, what are you assessing? And so, like, I'm like, wait a minute. So you saw 5 years of Luciano field ground balls in the minors, and we saw him for a week at the bigs, and it didn't even look close.
It looked
and like, what are you seeing? How are you assessing this?
Well, I think
what?
As a matter of fact, speaking of Luciano, it was when he got his first start. We were down at training camp. Lubman and I were watching it to Santa Clara Hilton. And what was the first thing I said to you, Lubman? Luciano's a guy I've been hearing about for so long, and he's batting 9th against the A's. My top prospect is batting 9th against the A's. How many prospects do we see come up in lineups, and they throw him leadoff spot right away?
Yeah.
Acuna Jr. right away, you're going batting 3rd. All these Paul Skeens, you're getting the ball right here. You're going like we bring these guys up and they're batting 9th. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I thought he was the top prospect in the system.
Anthony Volpe, who has been struggling as of late, okay, for over the last month and a half, because the Yankees as a whole,
the Yankees been awful.
They've lost 7 straight series or something.
They're struggling.
Horrible. But they stuck with their guy and through the thick and thin, and they realize he's only 22, and they're putting him in the leadoff spot. And I think it's really hard to be the leadoff hitter for the Yankees. Like, there's so much baked into it.
Well,
but to your point, they empowered him, and they're like, no, you need to relax. You're going to play right there.
Yep. Lubman in the box. Jackson Holiday batted 8th and 9th. I get it with the Baltimore Orioles.
They have Gunnar Henderson leading off.
They've got Alley. They've got Gunnar. They've got Mountcastle.
The Giants
they've got
are batting
Santander.
Soler lead
Go
off.
look at that Orioles lineup. You know what I'm saying? The Giants don't have anything close to that Orioles lineup. So how are we feeling on Farhan? 888-957-9570. Or do we have Farhan fatigue out there? Shout out to our friends at Flowing Water Plumbing and Drain. If you're going to call it to the roast, you better bring it, because if you don't, you will be flushed. Brought to you by Flowing Water Plumbing and Drain. What's coming up in the game? Brought to you by Robert Half. We'll get to the receiver doc at some point, but boy, I'm 4 episodes into the receiver doc, and excellent stuff. And boy, I got some thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo coming out of that talk. Why does it always come back to Jimmy Garoppolo?
I think that the quarterback doc last year, the receiver doc this year, is one of the greatest pieces of sports media that I've seen ever. And I'm not trying to I'm being dead serious.
Oh, it's great.
I want every position moving forward.
It's great. Jimmy. Oh, boy. But, Farhan, what do we do here? He wants to sell. What do you think about that, Giants?